Yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's office hour with Caculuz. I trust you guys had a fantastic weekend and you had very interesting sessions yesterday. Good morning once again. Okay, so this week, like I promised the last week, that you're gonna have lots of tasks this week, and this is how it's gonna be from now on. So this week you have tasks on laws of UX. You also have a task on design thinking. Then you also have a task on introduction to Figma. But I'd say lots of you all have submitted, the task on introduction to Figma. Feels very cheap, right? Over 300 people have submitted, and that's very impressive. So means that you guys have downloaded Figma. You now know what I just hope I just hope that by the end of the week you would not start saying you didn't get resources to introduction to Figma, or because some of you have gone ahead to submit like quite everything that is needed to pass the tax, right? Which is totally fine. But then at the end of the week, I hope you would not start making complaints that it was not clear enough and you went ahead to submit. Okay. All right. So good morning once again, everyone. Yeah. All right. So let's get right into it. I see that lots of you that's a form that was dropped on the Slack channel that you should fill your questions. Really, we want to start following that sheet, to answer questions. Do you get? So we want to start following that sheet to answer questions. So you may want to drop your questions there instead of YouTube. It's difficult for us to track on YouTube. It's easier for us to track with a Google form. So so you should go to Slack and then go fill the form with your question. So yeah, I can pick your questions and answer them. But before we get right into your questions, right? I know you've gotten a very quick overview of I know you've gotten a very quick overview of introduction to Figma. I'm sorry, I meant lots of UX, right? I mean with Uduak and with Infola. I don't know, I won't be touching much on lots of UX, but then if there's anything you don't understand, so you can just go to lawsofux.com. Like that's even where I read, right? I also don't know the laws in my head, but I go there to read them once in a while, to see how each of these laws are applied, right? It's just very good to have them in your head. And to be a good designer, you need to just have these things up in your head, right? So as much as possible, you just go there and read and read and read and read. You get all right. Okay, so that's really that. So today I'll just give you a brief overview of how how understanding the laws of UX will help you as a product designer or as a UI UX designer. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? I'm trying to confirm. I'm not seeing anybody comment yet. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Oh, okay, cool. All right. One response is okay. All right then. Okay, cool. All right. I saw a quick question on YouTube now saying, is it possible for a product to obey all the laws of UX? Now, I mean, you don't really need all the laws of UX for a particular product, right? But then your product must not default in the laws. Like that's what is important. So you must make sure that you're not defaulting in any of the laws as much as possible. So it's not like you must make sure that all the laws of UX your product must obey it. No, that's almost not possible. Your product won't be in the category where it needs to obey all the laws. And if it's in, which I know it's very slim, but then it should obey, right? Just make sure it's not defaulting a law. Yeah. All right, cool. Okay, so let's move on, right? So applying laws of UX as a product designer when you're working is really much more of like a back end knowledge, right? So it's not like you will now be testing, does he obey this law or does he not obey this law? I know, because some of you after now, you even forget that we taught you laws of UX, right? I've seen lots of people that went through like last year and early cohorts totally forgot about laws of UX. So this is where it really comes to play. It comes to play when you are able to think, right? It's able to invade your thinking, when you are making UX decisions, like when you want to design a flow, when you want to draw out an information architecture, so laws of UX help you to think in the right way that favors the laws, right? To make sure that you're not going against the laws. So basically, that's really what laws of UX help you do when you are designing the interface. So it's just more like, it's more like a residual knowledge, not more like something you actively go and be checking. So does he obey this law? Does he not obey this law? But then the task we give is just to, spike that, that interest in you to understand how much, a website can go against the law of UX, right? So much more. But then nonetheless, it is still very important that you put those knowledge in your head, right? Let them just be in your head so that by the time you're designing, then it's going to like keep coming back to your head. So it's going to keep coming back to your head, basically. All right. So that's really it. So let me just take your questions, so that we can move on from here. I'm giving you guys time to fill the sheet. All right. Okay. Some questions here already. Okay. So let me give you guys some time to fill the sheet, and then we'll move on. Okay. Oh, okay. Someone is asking about the healthy threshold law. So the threshold law basically is just saying that you should give people, you should reduce the thoughts in the mind of people that they are waiting, right? So let's say I'm trying to log into an app, right? Imagine I just press the login button and then the screen, sorry, is just blank, and then nothing is happening, right? Like I'm just waiting. But in the back end, what's really happening that it's loading, but then it's just blank on the screen, personally, I just feel like I'm wasting time on the platform. But then when you see a loading, a loading indicator, a loading indicator just rolling, telling you that, it just gives you the kind of mind that something is being processed, right? Okay, it's processing something, or it's a progress bar, that is moving. One big advantage, example is when you're loading WhatsApp on your system, for example, it gives you this progress bar that's saying loading chats, right? So that's an application of the hereditary threshold law. Do you get? So that's really how you improve, perceived performance. And then you just reduce like the perception of waiting, basically. Like I personally just feel like, oh, okay, this stuff is loading up. I don't feel like I'm actually waiting, even though in the real sense I'm still waiting. But then that progress indication, and then it finally opens up, right? Just takes away that thoughts in my mind that I'm waiting for this stuff to load up. Sure, yet. So yes, that's it. So you're also asking how to use animation to visually engage people. Yeah, that's what I just explained, like loading animation. Just like, for example, when your internet gets interrupted on a meeting or on this stream call, for example, YouTube starts loading. It is telling you that something is happening. We are waiting for your internet to come back, But then imagine it just stops streaming and then just cuts you off, right? You even get pissed off, basically, and then you start searching. So the loading indicator is just, giving you, that's an animation, right? It's an animation, it's rolling. I told you last week that animations are basically what's it called now? Design assets that are in movement, or in motion, basically. So that's really what it means. So I've given an example already. The sheet you're filling is on Slack. Okay, someone is talking about design thinking, right? I believe you watch the video, but then design thinking, basically, as explained in the video, is really talking about you being able to come up with solutions to certain design problems, thinking in design, That's basically what design thinking is, thinking as a designer. So for each of the tags, the problems that you have highlighted from Naira Land, for example, you have to think of solutions for them, right? Yes, that's what design thinking is basically. So once you highlighted, it's very easy, right? Once you've seen where they defaulted in like UX law, for example. So like it's very easy for you to just know that basically like there's so much more work to be done, like just follow the laws of UX that are defaulted, come up with solutions, those kind of things. Like, so that's just what you basically have to do, right? All right. So the sheet, okay, yes. All right, so let me go and start answering questions on the sheet, basically. All right. Okay. So the first question I'm seeing here is, someone says, I need a clarification. Okay. Someone says that I need a clarification on the assignment B, physical product part of the law of UX tags. How are we going to go about it? Can you give examples of how this law may relate to physical products? Okay, so this is it, right? You all know the popular what's it called now? The very popular one is this ketchup can, AN's ketchup can, that they redesigned basically. It used to, it had a very small opening, right? And then it was sitting on the base. I think this is very difficult. It's very difficult to explain. All right, so like it was sitting on the base. Right? No, let me look for another example. Okay, so for physical products, like every of your products have issues, basically, right? It could be with charging it, it could be with making use of it. For example, I'm really racking my brain for an example. It's not clicking yet. Hopefully when it clicks, I'll give you an example. But then what you're supposed to do is look for a physical product, that is defaulting in any law of UX, right? Any law of UX, like user experience. UX is user experience, right? So if there's any stress you are having using the product, for example, it's just like you are charging a device and it's not giving you an indicator that it's charging already, so that's a big, that's is defaulting the law of UX, right? So it should be able to give you an indicator that it's charging. So that's an example. So just like there's this particular meme that is quite popular in the design space. There's this cup that looks very beautiful. It looks like it's designed like in a cat-like shape, but then when you are trying to use it to drink water, the two ears that was, that the cup was framed of, would actually be poking your eyes, right? So I don't know if I can find the example. Yes. So that's an example of a bad UX. Yeah, basically. All right. So but then if I remember a very, very workable example, I'll then give it. But then I hope it's clear like what exactly the tax is about. So you're looking for a physical product, check the law is defaulting, and then make sure you highlight the laws. Just give us the name of the product, the picture, and then the law is defaulting. Please, can we run through how to answer the assignment again? I didn't understand the first explanation. Everyone seems to be saying one thing or the other. I feel like this person just wants us to talk, right? And you don't want to do the work, sadly. But then we'll help you, right? Okay, so the tasks are actually very straightforward. You know what to do. Go to your post and understand the class first, right? Now, after you understand the class, you go to the task to attend the task, right? So now going to the task is very clear. You are looking at, first of the tax is you are looking at Nairaland, right? Nairaland.com. Nairaland is a very badly designed website, like badly, terribly bad, with a lot of information. It's stressed out, right? And doing certain things. So all you have to do is interact with Nairaland website and observe the laws of UX that they defaulted in. Do you get? So observe the laws of UX that they defaulted in. All right. Someone is quickly asking, does it have to be a physical product? Yes, the tax has to section, assignment A, digital product, assignment B, physical product. So yes, if you don't have a physical product, you basically lose half of the mark. Like, yeah, that's just it. You lose half of the mark. So no matter how good the amount of your loss of UX tax, if you don't have a physical product, you're going to lose half of the mark, right? So we're making you understand basically like physical products too can have bad user experience, right? So UX is not limited to digital products. Okay. You can't see my screen. No, I'm sure that must be your network. I'm sharing my screen. All right, let's go. All right, let's go. Okay, so yes, back to the question. So yes, that's what you have to do, right? Then the second part of the assignment, which is for laws of UX, is the physical product that I've explained. Review one physical product and state the laws of UX followed and the ones not followed. So yes, you are stating the laws of UX that was followed and the ones that were not followed, right? So when you look at the product, which one did they obey? Which one did they not obey? Attach a picture of the product to review supporting your answer. Examples of physical products: a power bank, traffic lights, right? It's very clear already, right? We tried as much as possible to make it clear. Digital products, please review the website below. Identify the laws of UX they got right and which ones they got wrong. Attach pictures supporting your answer. So you basically just have to take a screenshot of that place where you feel like this is where they went against the law. Tell us the law they went against. Attach a picture to support that they really went against the law, and then state how they went against the law. So you get, so okay, they were supposed to do this and do this, but they didn't do it. Very clear, right? So Nairaland is the site. Yes, there's no amount of loads, right? Yes, Ella, I'm reading from YouTube now. Yes, there's no amount of loss, but then you don't do 2 loss. And if we check this side, obviously we know the amount of loss they defaulted, right? So the moment we see that you have not invested time in seeing the amount of loss, or you just review like 2 loss and say they got this 2 loss, no, they got this 2, you'll be shooting yourself on the leg big time. All right. Okay, so that's really that. I think then design thinking tags. Let me see. For design thinking, some of you all have some design thinking tags. You guys are smart. All right. Okay, so I just hope you did the right thing. For design thinking tasks, write down the solution to the problems you stated earlier in the previous assignment for the website you reviewed, right? So now you have reviewed Nairaland, for example. Now you have to write down the solution to the problem, the UX laws that you discovered. So if they should have done this instead of this. They should have done this instead of this. That's just for the website now, not the physical product. You get. You can't see my screen. Like, why can't you see my screen? I'm shocked. All right, let me stop sharing and share again. Yes, Philista, Esther, answer assignment A and B on the same doc. Yes, on the same doc. All right, so the assignment, okay, yeah. Yeah, so basically for design thinking tasks, that's what you are doing, right? You are providing solutions to the problems you discovered in the laws of UX tasks, basically. All right. So I think that's it. Wait, can you hear me? Is there a problem with my audio? Let me see. I'm not sure. Oh, thank you, Duak. So I think that's not my problem then. I think it should be your network. All right. So okay, so that's that on design thinking tags and laws of UX tags. Okay. So let me address next question. Whoa, you guys have feel a lot. Come on, getting scared. All right, about the tax on design thinking, please, I need more clarifications on how to go about the tax. Oh, I just did that. I hope you were on the call. Yes, I just explained that. Is it possible to learn product design, just be an expert in UI design? Why is this your concern? But then I'll answer, right. You might like UX design, the UI design basically is fine, but right now just focus on UI and UX design. You don't want to be lacking on your first job, right? So just focus on UI and UX design, and then maybe later you can specialize if you get a chance to. Please, can you help guide us on how to submit our response using Figma link? Okay, I'm coming. So if you want to submit with Figma link, right? Let me go to Figma. All right, so if you want to submit with Figma, for example, so this is UI UX Labs. So this is a Figma board, for example, and then you have done your work, you have done whatever it is you wanted to do, and then you have everything listed out, right? Basically. So if you want to submit your link, right, this is what you do, basically. You click on share, as you can see at the top. When you click on share, you make sure that this stuff is set to anyone with the link, can view. Not, you see, my own was can view prototypes only, but you have to change it to can view, right? Anyone with the link can view. So you have to change to anyone with the link can view. Make sure it is anyone with the link can view. I'm saying it again. Make sure it is. The moment we can't view it, like you just failed. We don't regrade, right? We don't check if you did the right work. We're not going to check back. Let me just say it again. Like, we're not going to check back. Do you get? We're not going to check if you did it, or if you did well, or if you did it the best, right? As long as we can't view your work, like, you get 0.5. Like, that's default, and we are even nice by giving you 0.5, right? So if it's a tax that is graded by 2 points, we might give you 0.1, or maybe less than, or 0.01. So once we click on anyone with link, make sure anyone with link can view, then just copy the link, right? Yeah, copy the link. Then once you copy the link, you see a confirmation, link copy to clipboard. Then just go to the LMS and paste the link, right? Make sure anyone with link can view, all right? All right, so that's it. I've answered that. The law on UX tag submission by Google Docs. Can one use another application to do the assignment and then upload it to Google Drive and then share the link? Kilo day. It's too much. You say if you like work, you want to use another app to do it, then you upload it to Drive and then you share the link of the Drive to the LMS as submission. Or do I need to work with Google Docs only? Please work with Google Docs. Like, learn to work with Google Docs. It will even help you in your design journey for documentation. Just work with Google Docs. Makes it very easy. You don't want to be working with an offline application or be doing it on your Notes app, or be working with Microsoft Word that you install on your application, on your system, right? I know there's Microsoft Word is also online now. So if that's what you are using, it's fine, but I think it's paid. But then if that's what you are using, it's fine. Just make sure we can access the link. But then Google Docs are advised, like, everybody uses Google Docs. You should also use Google Docs, right? So just use Google Docs, please, as much as you can. Thank you. All right. The difference between laws of UX and usability heuristics. Also, one is asking for the difference between the laws of UX and then usability. That's heuristics evaluation, basically. Okay, so basically, I think this is it, right? Laws of UX, is helping you just do better, like, to your users, helping you pass your information better to your users, basically. And then heuristics are just like someone like, should I say, like, they're just like mental shortcuts, right? Like, so when you are using heuristic evaluation for your product, basically, when you're using heuristic evaluation for your product, basically, it's just like you have like a rule of thumb, like you have a set of rules that you are just checking by if it's passed, if it passes or not, right? So there's so much kind of like similarity between heuristics and laws of UX, basically. But then laws of UX are so much focused on users' experience, right? So heuristic evaluation adds a touch of like the interface, what it should be, basically. So basically, that's really what heuristics. So heuristics has a touch of like physical, like the view, your colors, just basically everything about your design, your product, basically. But then lots of UX is, having a very deep touch on the user's experience using your product, right? So you can use both either heuristics, evaluation to check your product if it meets certain rules, or certain laws, basically. But then you can also, like lots of UX are I would say they are kind of like a bit much more technical, right, to each of these words. And then heuristics are just like very more direct. It's just like a checkbox, right? Heuristics are just like checkbox for your product, basically. So it's just checkbox. Does it pass this? Does it pass this? Does it pass this? Right. So, but then lots of UX are just like guide to how you design, or guide of how you design for users, basically. So that's basically it. Lots of UX are guides to how you design, but then heuristics evaluation are like checkboxes, for your designs, basically. All right. So I hope that answers the question very well. So you can tend to give it like more scope in like other classes, like to really like differentiate them, right? So, and basically heuristics evaluation is I would say heuristics evaluation is more like a usability test, right? You are testing what you have designed, basically. That's really what heuristics evaluation is. But then lots of UX are like so how do I put it now? So let me make it very understandable. Like, so let's say we live in Nigeria, right? And Nigeria have laws, right? We have laws that guide us. For example, they say you must not kill, right? If you kill, you'll be killed, or something like that, right? By the law you get. So then, but then by the time you get to the court, there are certain situations surrounding murder. There are murders that come from assault, murders that come from reactions, murders that come from how do they call it? There's something they call it. Is it when you're trying to protect yourself, but then someone is trying to attack you, but then in protecting yourself, you end up killing the person. Like there are certain situations that could happen, right? So so the laws of if you kill, you are going to be killed. It's just like laws of UX, right? But then when you now get to the court, they are going to evaluate your certain condition, like your own situation, for example, for your own murder case, for example. So heuristics evaluation is like evaluating your own product itself, right? But then lots of years are just like lay down laws that, okay, these are the things that should guide you. Now, you must try as much as possible as the city of Nigeria not to kill, right? They are just guiding you at the back of your head. So that's how laws of UX is. But then heuristics evaluation basically is like you are now testing. Now, let's say you have designed a product, you are pushing a product to the public, or you're pushing a product live, then now you're now testing, if you have defaulted in laws or not, so that's basically what the evaluation is. So that's the difference. So, but then for strict evaluation, there are guides, that looks like laws. But then the evaluation you're carrying out is just like those testings that you're doing. All right. So submit your questions. It's becoming hard to keep up with YouTube questions. So just submit your questions to the sheet. All right. Someone is saying, please highlight the questions you've treated so we can know. Oh, bad. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, so all right. So according to the tags, can a website get one law? Can a website get one law in one page and miss it in another? And if so, can we put the same law under laws gotten and laws broken? Okay, so they got the laws in one page, but then in another they missed it, right? Okay, yes. I mean, if there are different scenarios, like yes, you can do that. Yes, as long as there are different scenarios, you can do that. Okay. All right. So I would love more explanation on duality threshold law of UX. I think I've explained this already. It's just like feedbacks, right? Basically, just feedbacks. But there was a special note on it being with animation, but it's just like letting your user know what's happening. They are signing in, just give them a loading indicator, right? To let them know that, okay, we are processing your sign information to know if you have registered. If they are signing up, just know that, okay, we are registering you on our platform, like just that kind of feedback. So that's basically what it is about. All right. So little more explanations on law of common region and laws of proximity. Okay. I know that so much well, like you guys are so much well, like you guys have, gone through the resource. That's really what I'm really praying for, because most of the questions you guys are asking, I feel like if you've gone through the resource, you are going to be able to understand them. But then how hard, like, I'll just give my own input, right? So laws of common region, and what's the second one? And then laws of, proximity, for example. Okay, so for laws of common region, right? So what laws of common region is, all right, so it's just like it's basically sectioning, right? Making it very easy for users to be able to understand. So let me give you a clear example of the product. So let's say let me look for an example. So let's say you are listing features, right? Features on a website, for example, you know, just like what says common region, right? Let's say you're listing features on a website. So let's say on your website now, I'll go a little bit deep, maybe something you guys have heard. So let's say it's an infrastructure company, maybe a banking as a service company, for example. Now, under banking as a service, right, we have, they have virtual accounts as a service, they have cards as a service, share get. Then in their infrastructure offerings, maybe they are offering banking as a service, they are offering fintech as a service, they are offering maybe FX conversion, right, for global payments, for example. So laws of common region is like bringing together related contents to one side, right, and then putting like just bringing together related contents, related elements to one side, sure you get, and then putting a clear difference between those contents and then the next set of contents, sure you get. I think another example is there's one that's trying to come to my head now, but then I'm finding how to place it. Okay, so it's I'm finding it very hard to place it, right? It's just like, okay, yes. All right. So there's an app I designed that I think I use this law. So yeah, it was a fintech app. And then in the fintech app, it was a fintech app for SMEs, right? Small, medium scale businesses. They can send invoices and do all this kind of stuff, right? So now, for them to see the information on invoices, right, we add what we call like company overview. Like for the company the business that is sending out the invoice, right? We have their own information in a section, so you get in a region in itself, like where we add the company name, the company address, we add the so information about the company basically, right, in a section. That was like in a card on its own on the mobile app. Then in the next set, we had customer information, the customer name, the customer address, everything about the customer. Then in a third section, we had product information. For example, under product information, we had what they bought, how much it was that they bought, basically, and every other thing about the product information. So common region is like putting related contents, in the same site and giving a clear difference between related content and the next set of related contents. Like, I don't know if it's very clear. Maybe I should get feedback. So do you guys understand laws of common region now, or especially the person that asked the question? Like, is it very clear now? So just like putting related contents in the same section, right? And just keeping a difference between those contents, like you put all of them. So let's say you are, I don't know, today's not a good day for examples. My head is not bringing up examples, right? But then I'm just explaining the child, and I hope like you get it, for example, I would just hope you get it, right? So, so let's say you are doing your UX, for example, you're doing your UX research. Yes, nice example. All right, so let's say you're doing a UX research. So you're doing like your UX analysis, right? Whereby you are ideating. So after ideating, like you're in the stage where you're in ideation stage where you've come up with random ideas with your team. Oh, some people are saying they want to see my screen. Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. I mean, it's totally fine. I'm coming. It's totally fine. All right. Okay, so I was trying to explain laws of common region. Or basically, let's say I was explaining laws of common region. All right. Okay, so yeah. So laws of common region, this is what I was explaining, laws of common region, right? So basically, Lots of common region, like I was explaining, is putting related content in the same section, right? So I was explaining with UX research and UX analysis, for example. Sure you get now. UX research and UX analysis, like when you have ideated and come up with like different form of ideas. For example, you've come up with different form of ideas. Now what you want to do, you want to section each of these ideas. Basically, like you want to section them into is what we call okay, there's a little bit of what we call prioritization grid, but not exactly. So like you want to categorize each of these ideas to related ones. So let's say, for example, when you were doing the research on a product, one of the issues people mentioned is trust, right? And then under trust, you have now come up with different kind of ideas that can solve the problem of trust for that platform. Then another issue people come up with is payment, right? Then under payment, you have come up with different form of ideas that can solve that question. That issue called payment. So putting all your ideas under the umbrella of trust issue and putting all the ideas that you came up with under the umbrella of payment issue is segmentation. Basically, you are applying the laws of common region. But then in designing a product in itself, right, it's basically like just keeping keeping features, or just keeping informations of a product like in the same section. Like I was explaining about the fintech app, where you basically like we're putting companies or business information in one card section on itself. We're putting customers information in another card in itself. Then we're putting product information in another card of itself. So that's really where you apply. That's really where you apply laws of UX. I hope it's clear. I know it's very difficult. Right? Don't stress on it, basically, right? But then if you read up, maybe do some further readings also. Like you should get it. All right. Okay. So now talking about laws of proximity. Second question. The overview says that objects that are near or proximate to each other tend to be grouped together, right? So proximity helps establish relationship between like nearby objects, help you know how to organize information faster and more efficiently. So basically for proximity, right? So proximity and laws of common region are very similar. Okay, I think I get why this person was asking the question very well now. So proximity is helping like to establish it between nearby objects. So it's just helping you to know what, okay, let me make it very clear. So laws of common region is, so like I explained, laws of common region is like putting together related elements, like related contents together. Sure you get. But then now proximity is like knowing the next content after an immediate content. This seems very difficult to explain now. Okay, so let me say it in a better way, right? So let's say you are designing a website, for example. There's something we call like the architecture of website design, right? What should follow, because a website is basically for conversion, right? So after you put in your heading, okay, we are doing this, we are changing the way people relate with money, or we are changing banking, blah, 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 that kind of thing, for example. Now, proximity helps you know the next important information to put. I'm thinking very well. Let's do an example. Let me check tribars.com. I think I enjoy their site very well, and I'm sure they might have followed the law. But then let's check. Okay, so now on Tribars, on Browse, for example, they say banking that works for your business. Banking that works for your business, do more with business accounts and blah, 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 blah. Okay, now, first thing in your mind is like coming to this platform is like, okay, what did this guy do? Okay, they are doing banking for businesses. Okay, so how did they do banking for businesses? Like basically in your head, you're just thinking of how do they do banking for businesses? That's why you want to scroll down, right? Now, they have a video here by the side, which makes it like very clear for you to understand whatever it is that they are doing, right? But then let's just go down to the website. Now, how do they do banking for businesses? Now, they say they are doing a complete financial stack for business, speed, security, and support, right? So now the first thing that is in your mind is there is already a way to get a business account. Go into the bank and get a business account. But now, what is different in this? So like, that's like by default, I'm looking at the potential user coming here. I'm not a potential user, but then looking at the potential user coming to this platform, the next thing is in his mind is like, okay, what is different that these guys are doing, right? First thing in your mind is that, oh, okay, now, first thing is speed that they kept here. Now, you know that for a commercial bank, for you to get a business account, now you're going to spend days You're going to need referees, or is it referees they call it, or you're going to need people to stand for you and all those wahala. It will take weeks to get a business account, right? But then Braz is telling you are getting a business account in 10 minutes. First thing first. So proximity is like helping you to know the next set of information to present to your user after the first set of information. Sure you get. So it's just like you are digging into the mind of your user, and then you are putting out, like you're able to understand what is the next thing the user is thinking, and you're able to present that information. Sure you get. I don't know if you're able to like understand. I don't know if you're able to understand, but then that's what proximity is, like helping you to pick like the next set of information. So when you are designing a platform, when you are looking at the next set of information your user would get to after an initial information, you must basically be thinking of what is it that is in their mind, like what's the thing that they're going to need to see. So lots of proximity is going to help you to categorize the informations that are close to each other, or that should be close to each other, basically. All right. So that's really that. I spent so much time on explaining these laws. Like, you guys didn't watch the class, right? You need clarification on duality threshold. I've explained that, but you guys should read. If I start explaining all these laws again, then there's no point of the class. I feel like you are not trying to do any work on yourself. Right. So all right. So basically, so yes, this is too much for me to start explaining each of them. Like, the class already explained them. Okay. So we've been asking about how to download the Figma or add it since last, but we've not gotten a reply to this. How to download Figma. Oh, okay. So now how to download Figma, right? So let me show you how to download Figma. If that was the issue. To download Figma, just go to figma.com. Figma.com. All right. Okay. No. Sadly, sorry, I had to log in. All right. So it's opening my account for me. So let's go to figma.com. Okay. So this is what you see, right? When you go to figma.com. It's been a while I've been here. They've redesigned this. Very nice. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay, so this is where you go to, this is figma.com, right? You have to go to figma.com, see everything the platform is about. And then if you want to download, where is it? Where is download? Come in. It shouldn't be far. Products, okay, Figma. Oh, okay. Yeah, so they have Figma and FigJam, right? I know it shouldn't be hard to download. I'm coming. So if you click on Figma, is it get started? Do they not allow people to download again? Get started. You'll be logging in. Okay. What if you want to download? So it's been a while I've been on Figma. Let's see overview. Oh wow. I'm trying to understand where download is. So if I click on get started, what happens? It tells me to log in directly. So well, I think you have to log in to Figma, maybe to be able to download. I'm so sorry. It's been a while I've been on Figma. I've downloaded Figma for a while, so I don't think they're allowing people download directly now. They want you to log in before downloading, right? So what you're going to do is, to try Figma for free, you have to log in, create an account, right? So you just put in your email address and put in your password, and then you create an account. So it checks if you have an account or not. So I believe that after that, you should be able to download. If there's anybody that has recently downloaded, just share with everybody on Slack, right? So I'm not seeing a direct download button on the page, but then if you want to download Figma, this is where you go to. Okay. All right. So that's on that. All right. So the next questions, okay, come in. Some websites follow and do not follow the same rule in a partial way. Yeah, that's possible. I addressed that already. So just tell us where they follow and when they didn't follow. All right. Under week 2, the tasks that require submitting a Figma, are we meant to design a solution? No. Just write about the solution. You are not designing a solution. Please, you are not designing the solution. You're only writing about the solution. All right. you are not designing the solution. Okay, let's make that clear. Since product design is a process at minimum, how many laws out of general law should be considered in design? This is what I was saying, right? It's not like you have to it's not like one set of rules that you must pack them down in your head, right? It's just something you have at the back of your mind and make sure you don't default. So it's not like you must consider all the rules. Sometimes you won't need some, sometimes you will need some as it applies to your products. So I feel like that's how you should, address it. So as it applies to your product to use, it might not be all the 21 that would apply to your product. Okay. In the introduction to Figma assignment, how do we submit using a Figma link? I've explained already how to submit using a Figma link. Let me go over it again. This is a Figma page, for example. You click on share. Make sure anyone with the link can view. Make sure it is anyone with the link here, and then make sure it is can view here, right? And then copy link and then paste the link. So that's basically what you're doing. Okay. All right. So let's go. How do I go about the UX law tags and design thinking tags? This question is very broad. I don't know. What do you mean by how do you go about it? Have you checked them? It's just like the question feels like you're waiting to be spoon fed. Yep. So just if you read the tags are clear enough, right? They are really clear. Why are we being asked to use Figma for a third assignment? Are we to create a website showing the right laws? No. You are not to create a website showing the right laws or showing the wrong laws. No, you are just meant to highlight what you think should be the solution on Figma. The reason why we are telling you to do it on Figma is so that you would now be familiar with Figma. Okay? Yes. So that at least you start getting familiar with Figma, and then plus the introduction to Figma. From next week, you are going to be using Figma fully. All right. So this week is just to help you get familiar with Figma, play around Figma. Okay. How do we submit the design thinking task using the Figma link? All right. So, yes, you can use Figma through the web, without downloading it. It works totally fine also. So someone is asking, how do you submit design thinking task using a Figma link? I'm trying to think if I can find an example. So what we are basically just asking you to do is, for example, let's say this is a frame. Let me draw a frame. Let's say you have a frame like this, for example. Right. Let's say you have a frame like this, for example, and then I'm thinking. Okay, so let's say you go on Naira Land. Where's Naira Land? Do I have Naira Land open there? All right. No, I don't. Okay, so let me go to Naira Land. Land. Go. So let's say I don't know the kind of law they default in, but then let's say the default in something, right? For example. So I've taken a screenshot. This is a screenshot, for example. So I'll just do something. Okay. So I'll just save a screenshot, for example, and then I'll go and copy the screenshots. Right? Copy screenshot. Then I'll bring the screenshot to Figma. Right. See, for example, so let's say there's one law somewhere that they defaulted in, right? So I'll copy to Figma, and I'll do like this. I'll say, so I'm talking about design thinking. This is how you do the laws of UX tags, but you are doing it on Docs. Don't forget. But this one, you're doing it on Figma. So this is how you do it, for example. Then you now come here and say, XYZ, something should happen to something, whatever it is you want to say, right? So I'm coming. All right. So you say they should do XYZ instead of WER, kind of. So they should do XYZ instead of WER, blah, 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 blah. So you will just put the screenshots by the side and then tell us what they should have done instead. So you tell us what they defaulted in based on your laws of UX, right? They did not do this. Then you tell us what they should do. All right. So that's how design thinking tags should be, right? You tell us what they did not do, but what they defaulted in, the law they defaulted in. Just tell us what you feel should be the solution by the side. So just do that on a frame, right? Make the frame long. do everything. Yeah, just the digital product, just Nairaland, right? Not another product. So yeah, I think that answered the question. And I've explained how to use Figma Loom. Please, is usability heuristics under laws of UX? The thing with usability heuristics is that they also improve UX, right? So all of these laws are actually improving UX, So, but then I don't want you to take laws of UX abstractly, like it is one kind of set of rules created by one divine person, like one almighty person. Sure, you get. I don't want you to have that kind of mind. It's not a set of rules created by one almighty person. It is a rules that was defined towards one reason, to make sure that your user have a great experience on your product. Do you get? So heuristics, usability heuristics are the same, under like the same situation. Do you get? Just making sure that your users are having like a great experience. Sure, get? Yeah. So you can't tell me that the user did not follow usability heuristics. Like, that's too broad. Do you get? Yeah, that's too broad, basically. So if you're thinking of it as a special law in itself, no, that's too broad for you to consider it as a law. All right. What does cookies mean on a website? There are some inside web users come across cookies and like a website. Can cookie be characterized as well? All right. So cookies are basically just taking your data and helping you to improve your experience on the platform, according to them. But yes, they are taking your data, right? That's what I know about cookies. Whether it's a bad UX or a good UX, I don't know, right? But then you shall must accept on some websites. So I don't really know. Maybe someone can come and give more context. Basically. All right. So kindly confirm if the assignment on Nairaland is just for the first page. Are the heuristics also part of the loss? Now, the assignment on Nairaland is not just for the first page, right? As much as possible, check through other pages on the site. You get, all right. So now, I've already explained about heuristics already, okay? All right. In Figma tags, what does pages in Figma mean? So pages in Figma means pages. I don't know how else to explain it. This is pages, right? You can have a new page. So see me, for example, here. For introduction to design, I have a page, right? Then for office hours, I have a page. Then for design thinking, I have a page, right? Yeah. So for remote UX research, I have a page, right? So they are just pages. I don't know how to explain it, but then they are pages, like they're just like tabs. They're not tabs, you have tabs, right? So they are pages. I don't know how to explain it better, but then yes, they are pages. I'm not sure there's a better explanation there. All right. Concerning the Google Docs tags, are we to answer both assignment A and assignment B? Yes. On the same docs, yes. Assignment A and B on the same docs. Introduction to Figma, how it helps in design. I don't understand. How does introduction to Figma help in design? We just introduced you to Figma. Okay, wait. Oh, sorry. I was thinking introduction to design. Okay, how does it help in design? Figma is the tool we are going to be using, right? So yes, we are introducing you to the tool that we are going to be using. That's basically what it is. The submission link to be shared. Folajomo will explain something I didn't understand the explanation. If the answer falls, enter 3 of pages. Are we going to submit 4 different links? One link for one page. Or is there a way to submit? Yeah, right. You can submit, you just submit one link. See, each of this Figma file is one link, right? So the only thing that I know happens is that sometimes Figma does some magic, right? Where if I was on this page when I share the link, if anybody visits this Figma link, it might get to this page first before any other page, right? So, but then you'll be able to have access to all the pages if you share the file. So you don't have to share each different link for each pages. Okay. So yeah. All right. So someone just can a TV remote be an example of physical product? Yes, perfectly. Perfect example. Perfect example. TV remote can have bad user experience. Okay, I think I've explained differences between usability, heuristics, and laws of UX already. Right. So that's the next question. Do you have to touch all the 21 laws? No, you don't have to touch all the 21 laws. One or two is too small for reference, okay? We are testing the amount of knowledge you know. So if you can touch the 21 laws, you are getting the full mark. That's cheat code, right? I'm giving you a cheat. If you are touching 21 laws, you are getting the full mark, right? We want to know as much laws as possible as you know. And if you have known them well, you can touch the 21 laws and then you are saying rubbish. What I mean by rubbish is like they are basically not addressing the issues they are talking about, or they did not default to those laws, or you got the understanding of the laws wrong. You're gonna lose out the mark, right? But then if you touch the 21 laws correctly, like you're getting all the mark. You get so, but you don't have to, like, you don't have to. I don't expect anybody to, sincerely. All right. All right. My time is up. Okay. So this is where I'm going to stop. I see lots of questions are still left. You have other office hours, and just keep dropping your questions, right? Just keep dropping your questions, okay? Keep dropping your questions. It's going to get addressed in other office hours today or later today, okay? So this is what we're going to be following to answer questions, please. All right. Yeah. So this is what we're going to be following to answer your questions, basically, and not just what's it called? YouTube. YouTube is always very difficult, you know. Yeah, exactly my point. Adelaja, go. Yeah, it's fine not to touch all the laws. Yes. Yes, Figma doesn't work on Windows 7. I got someone trying it. It doesn't work. Figma doesn't work on Windows 7. All right, so you might just want to try Windows 10 above. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I hope you guys, I hope I was able to answer those questions well. I hope you guys were able to gain something. Someone is asking when the next office hour. Just check your calendar, all right? Be a friend of your calendar. You get the update to the next office hour. All right, thanks so much, guys. Do have to follow me on Twitter if you haven't. It would be nice to catch up on Twitter. I've replied to everyone that messaged me last week. I'm hoping to do so. If you message me, all right, to ask further clarifications, ask very wise questions, right? You know, like when I mean wise, just go direct to your questions. Don't greet me. Just greet me hi and ask your question. All right. So yeah, cheers, guys.